the Venturi Real Estate Group from Keller Williams Realty. You can pick up the phone, dial them directly, 448-8888. That's 448-8888. Or as always, you can find them at the number one website in the state of New Mexico for real estate. That, of course, is welcomehomeabq.com, welcomehomeabq.com. Tigo, Tracy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Eddie. Another nice week. Got a little bit of rain again, so a lot going on in real estate. And Tracy, we've got a lot to cover today.
We always have more to cover than we can probably fit in the show, but we'll talk fast.
Lots of news, lots of economic news, I think, as most people recognize that are following that stuff. You know, there was the Fed chair spoke this week. There was a bunch of news relating to housing, so I'll get into that. Tracy, we've got I've got some initial. My papers here.
It's right. A new month started.
A new month. So I've got some initial July looks at the market data for Albuquerque. I think the summary is, and I know you don't have to look at the numbers to know how strong July was, but we'll pull some of those things out because there were a couple surprises. There was a big news story this week related to homeownership rates in the country. Big jump for second quarter. So some stats there. But one thing I really wanted to hit on this week, Tracy, is, I think anybody that's in the real estate market right now knows it's very busy.
I believe anybody in real estate definitely does, or anybody trying to buy or sell
exactly
knows that it's very busy.
Thing I wanted to hit on was, even though homes are selling fast, homes are selling, at the highest prices we've ever seen, to be honest. Getting the home ready to sell and getting top dollar, there's still a lot of important strategies there. So I wanted to pick your brain on that a little bit. So people aren't just throwing it out there because they know it's going to sell, but they're getting it ready and getting the most out of it. So
I was speaking of, I was with a seller this week, just meeting with them getting their house on the market.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because he had a bunch of contractors there working on the house. The next door neighbor had contractors working, and across the street, and it was sort of a busy street, not too wide.
Yeah.
And lots of contractor vehicles all over, and it was interesting because people are doing things with their homes, not necessarily all just to get them ready for sale, but interesting. So that's what you were just talking about, the home ownership. So what we're seeing is there are lots of younger buyers in the market, right? A lot of first-time buyers and younger buyers, which, we know our son, who's 23, just bought a house by his employer in the Phoenix area, and who'd have thunk at 23 buying a house? But Andrew on our team bought his first rental at 23, so good for him, right?
Yeah, no, there was, if you follow any real estate news or follow any economics news, you would have seen this headline that home ownership rates jump, for the most, and I don't remember what all, the stats are, but anyway, it's a huge jump for the second quarter.
For millennials was the end of that line.
Well, but it was
for millennials, and
that was the largest increase, but it was across the board actually.
Right.
And so if you looked at so across the board, I think the jump was from 64 to 67,
almost 68.
Quarter one to quarter two. This is nationally. It's just the home ownership rate.
Right.
Across the board, big jump in home ownership. And so that means people that were renters or living at home or starting their first home, household as they call it. So a huge jump. Now, there's a caveat with that number because the way the data was collected, there's some questions about it since they were they
my stat guy.
I know. I gotta know all the very details.
That's good though.
Well, there's so many stats out there, and I think we all have lived through this now with what's been going on around the country with the stats related to COVID, and that you got to unpeel the layers of the onion to find out exactly the underlying information before you really get to the facts. And it's true with housing data. And so I always try to do that. But
that's why you always quote national, and then you usually ask me, and we talk about local, right?
Right. Because I'm following
Locally,
all that.
it's all over the board on home ownership, but.
And so there's been a couple other, just give you a couple national things. Again, the home ownership rate, big jump. A lot of people are saying in the housing world that the housing recovery is on, and we're through it. It was a 1 or 2 month April, May, blip, and we've done it's the V recovery, and we're off to the races. So take that for what it's worth, but that's what pretty much all of the housing economists and the people that follow this stuff are saying. Just because of the demographics, the interest rates, the supply versus demand, the interest. I mean, it just goes on and on. There's a lot of reasons. So,
and here in New Mexico, Tigo, we know the process. So we've had a lot of people asking us about foreclosures, and they say there's lots of foreclosures in the hopper coming in the future here. But we know that the process to have a house go through foreclosure in New Mexico takes a long time. Somebody has to.
Well, that's one of those perfect examples of if you're just looking at one piece of data, you're not getting the whole story. So if you're just looking at the number of people that are delinquent or in forbearance right now, and just assuming that all of those homes are going to be foreclosed on, you're missing the whole picture, because there's so much more to it. Yes, there's a lot of people that are delinquent. It's a very high delinquency rate right now. However, a lot of those people are in forbearance, which means they have a kind of a workout situation with their lender. And a lot of those people are in a positive equity position. So if they did get into a situation where they couldn't stay in their home any longer, they can sell it and move on and pay off the mortgage. Right. They have the equity to pay off the mortgage. So that doesn't mean, so you can't just say, oh, the delinquency rate's this, and that's going to equate to foreclosure. It's just not going to happen.
Right. So if you're listening and you're in that position of not being able to afford, to make your payments, most likely
it's really stressful.
We can help you. Obviously stressful.
Don't hide. Call us. We
have solutions to help you.
There's a lot of solutions out there, and just selling it is not one of them. Well, selling it is one of them, but there's different ways to sell. There's real estate contracts. There's a lot of different things to work it through. So don't hide. Give us a shout, and let's talk and see if we can help.
Right, for sure. So you've got some early numbers for how July closed out now that it's August 1st.
Well,
they'd be very preliminary, correct?
They're pretty preliminary, but I think
I'm sure they show the trend.
Well, you can tell us what the trend is, Tracy. I mean, right?
Home prices are up, and the number of sales are up.
Yeah, exactly.
The average price is up because there aren't very many on the lower prices for sale.
I saw something let me give you a couple things that jumped out at me. First off,
real numbers.
Yeah. First off, for July, it's looking like we're going to have about a 20% increase in the number of homes going under contract versus July of last year. So that's a huge jump. The number of homes on the market is down about 30% though. So, those are the stories. 11% increase in average sale price versus last July. That's a big jump.
Big jump.
But that doesn't mean that home prices are appreciating 11% per year.
Correct.
Yeah. But here, a couple things that really jumped out. Go ahead.
Just to be clear, that's what we just said. 11%, but it doesn't mean that this house last year this time is now 11% more. It just means the average price is higher.
Exactly.
Again, because we have less homes in the lower prices that are on the market.
Exactly.
And home prices are up.
No, absolutely.
We know that too, but not 11%.
I got to go to my Twitter feed to see what I did the calculation, but I can get. But I think what I saw was average price per square foot annualized about 6%,
which seems probably pretty accurate.
Yeah. So
I know people that closed in February, March that now need to sell because they had a change of jobs for a different market, and they're going to be able to sell that house with having equity right now.
I just looked at something
extra equity.
this morning, actually, Tracy, one of our rental properties, because we're considering to refinance it or not with these crazy low interest rates. And we bought it was it 7 years ago, and it's appreciated whatever amount, but it turned out to be up 5% per year on that particular property.
Appreciation.
Which is interesting.
Gosh, I'm pretty sure I'm the one who found that rental house to buy.
I'm pretty sure you did. In fact, I'm 100% sure. Okay, two things that jumped out at me. One, if you're looking at homes under $250,000, here, I'm going to hide the number so you can't look. I'm going to quiz you. What do you think the percent of list to sale price is?
I bet it's over 100%.
Well, it's right at 100%.
Is it?
Yep. So, that's average. Again, average is average. But, that's kind of unheard of. I mean, it's always been, even in the downturn when the market was oversupply and under demand, we were seeing, maybe 96, 95% of list price.
96, 97.
Even in a healthy market, we see 97, 98.
Yeah.
But now we're at 100%, which means, we know for sure homes are selling for over list price in many cases if they're a great house, right?
Right, for sure. Yeah. The houses we've put on the market for home sellers in the last 2 weeks, they've all had multiple offers.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, the other stat, and I posted something on this last week, is if you're looking at homes in that $500 to $1 million range. So our market, we consider luxury somewhere around 500 or so. Ultra luxury once you get up above $1 million. But you get in that middle spot, that 5 to $1 million, we saw an 80% increase in those homes going under contract in July. And I think it was about the same in June.
I don't know that stat. 80% increase.
I'm sorry, in the number
what?
In pendings.
In the number getting offers versus
last year.
So
Oh, sorry. I didn't give you the full story. That's how I know. Thank you for fixing me.
80% more homes above 500
Yes.
went pending in July.
Huge surge in that 5 to $1 million price range.
And we know most of those were closer to the 5 to 7 range.
True.
But
I think that's fair to say.
Which is typical because that's where the bulk of them are. There's less in those higher prices.
The thing that's interesting, though, you get up over $1 million now. The market's, I don't want to say flat, but there's still a lot more homes on the market. So give you an idea, for $1 million and above, there's currently 76 homes on the market, or at least based on, 76 on the market, and there were 7 pendings over $1 million. So that market, there's still a lot more supply than demand in that ultra luxury. But it's amazing, when you think about what you can get here versus some of the other markets around the country. In
even
that million.
Denver or Phoenix.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's interesting because I remember not too many years ago, Tigo, that the number of homes sold in a whole year above $1 million in our market was 30.
Yeah, I think there was one year it was like 20, if I remember. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. No, I mean, that market is strong. As you know, Trace, you've got some clients in that price range, both on the buy and the sell side, and you've seen a lot of activity.
A lot of activity, right around $1 million. But you know what? Once you get above about just over $1 million, the market is very different. It's not as hot. But I was in a multiple offer situation last week for a house over $1 million, and then on the sales side for a client on a house right at about $1 million with multiple offers also.
Yeah.
So interesting.
I want to quiz you a little bit on this whole getting top dollar for your home. Right now, I think we all can agree that the market is very strong. Sellers are in the strongest sellers market we've seen since 2006, without a doubt. Meaning, sellers are getting multiple offers. Homes are getting, I think the number was 40% are going under contract within like a couple days, and I think it was 60% within 10 days once they come on the market, new listings. So
top dollar.
The thing is, top dollar. Just because you can sell it doesn't mean you're maximizing it. So what should people be looking at, Tracy?
So I'm going to start with marketing instead of what the house condition should be. I'm going to talk about So we haven't talked about this ahead of time, but I met with somebody 2 days ago, and the thing was, we can put your house on the market and sell it, and I could probably take iPhone photos for you and sell it, right? But we're not going to do that.
In portrait orientation.
Wrong, yeah.
Into
with
the
bad
sun,
light, whatever.
with the toilet seat
but
up.
The point is, we're going to maximize, right, and do the best marketing we can to make sure that they get premium exposure, right? So we're still going to do great photos with professional photography. We're still going to do the scan for most houses on the virtual walkthrough, right? It's just, our sellers deserve that, but we're seeing more poor marketing and poor photos and things on some of the homes getting marketed right now, and it's really not doing a favor to the home sellers.
The home's going to sell.
But let's get top dollar.
Right.
So first of
How
all,
much money are you leaving on the table, right?
do the marketing.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, get premium marketing, get great photos, get it listed and out there in the world.
Well, we were having this conversation the other day, Tracy, and it's like we have a home that's upcoming, it's coming on the market, and we're like, well, we know this is going to get multiple offers first day on the market, right? We just know. But it's like we're still going to spend the money, get the good photos, get the floor plan, get all the marketing collateral in place to maximize those multiple offers that we're going to get on that property.
Right. We want it to show its best. In addition to that, then we talk about, the seller, getting the home prepped for sale and presenting it from the seller's, their ability to prep it and get it to be, model home or as close to it as they can.
Sure.
Not everybody can do that or wants to do that. So we can talk about those strategies, but, packing up stuff, pack up half of the stuff on all your shelves because you're moving anyway, and clean up the yard and refresh some things.
It goes back to what we've always coached our clients to do to get their home ready for sale. It's really no different.
Yeah.
Maybe back then it was more that you're trying to have it stand out from the crowd because there's a lot of competition, but now it's trying to get it to stand out and so you get those high offers.
Right. One of the sellers I met with this week, we kind of went through the house on what's happening, and right down to replacing outlet covers. Think about a house that's old. This was an older neighborhood, and an outlet cover gets all yellowed and dirty, and it was smart.
but they're like $1.
They're so cheap.
They're $1.25 each. I don't know.
Right, and somebody has to unscrew and rescrew them in. They don't snap on and off like the new ones.
Well, Tracy, whenever we do a rehab and a resell, I don't like calling them flips. I always redo all the electrical switches. Put the Decora type outlets and switches in, plates and everything. It just dresses up the home really nice, and it's not that expensive. And plus, you've got an electrician opening up every box, making sure everything's good too.
Yep, absolutely. So anyway, that's kind of my take on how do we maximize top dollar. We make sure that they get great marketing, great photos.
Marketing, photos.
And then the condition of the property.
So we talk about that, Tracy.
And getting the word out, right?
There's that 3 P's, right? It's the promotion, it's the product, and then, of course, the price, right? Those are the things that affect, what a home sells for, how quickly it sells, all of that. So the product part is the condition of the home.
Right.
Clean, pretty.
The location.
Curb appeal. Of course, curb appeal today is online photos. That's why good, high-quality professional photos are so important.
Right. Off topic again, but we have helped so many people in the last few weeks who are not looking at the house in person, or that are not even in the New Mexico area when they're looking at the house with us. So many that are looking at them.
Oh my gosh, Tracy, that is the best segue ever to my next story.
That was very off topic, but go ahead.
No, it was perfect. Perfect. So Realtor.com, which is, one of the big national real estate websites, like there's Realtor.com, there's Zillow, Trulia,
Yahoo. Those are the big ones.
Yahoo's not thing
anymore.
No, it's not really a thing anymore. So basically, those are the big 3. But Realtor.com has been pulling data, looking at where people are from when they're looking at homes in a certain market. So, obviously
So
with
when you're online and you give permission for people to see where you're at, because you need to know where the
when you
Lowe's Home
cl-
Improvement store is down the street.
when you click that little button that says cookies okay, that means they know where you are. So anyway, but so anyway, what they've been doing, and this is not, they've got it all over the country, so it's pretty cool. So they're taking this data and giving you reports. And so what you can do is you can look at, okay, I'm in this case, Albuquerque Metro, our MSA, which is our kind of, Albuquerque,
Metro
Rio
service
Ranchos.
area.
Yeah. So it's the whole, basically central New Mexico area. And what they're looking at is where are people coming from? And the stat was 40.
Where are they online looking at homes here?
Yes, exactly.
Where physically are they when they're searching homes in Albuquerque?
And so what they found is about 40% are out of state, and about 50, so 50, actually about 55% are in the city. So, most of the people that are looking at homes in Albuquerque are in Albuquerque.
Right.
Well, there's
majority.
the majority, 55%, another 4% are within the state. And
So that's
only,
basically 60% almost now.
Yep, there you go. And then 1% is international, which is no surprise. We're not a big international destination.
We get some military who are
Yeah,
relocating to Kirtland Air Force Base. So
that's probably what that 1% is.
right, we get plenty of those. I think PCSing is delayed a little bit this year, but we're getting some.
Yeah, not as much. And then about 40% are from other states, and so and they can actually tell you what the metro is that they're in, that are looking here. And so I pulled this up the other day and I was quizzing you, Tracy, right? It's like what we do over coffee in the morning, right?
I was wrong on number one, and
you were, but you were right on number one. You got as number two. Ooh, let's see. Let me rephrase that.
The one I thought was number one is really number two.
Exactly. There you go.
Okay, so drum roll.
Yeah.
Where's the top viewing metro that's looking at properties in our market?
Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington Metro.
Interesting.
Which
so
I
wouldn't
found
think
interesting.
of that.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. And
I just don't.
I'm trying to figure out a correlation, but I don't know what it is.
It's a big percentage difference too. Number one versus number two. It's 19.8% are from the Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington area.
So this is from April. So we're, it's a little bit behind.
April.
So,
in April, everyone was home.
Yeah.
So Dallas was huge.
Yeah.
Looking at properties in our area.
But number two is
LA
I
Metro.
think most people should know that. Yep. LA Metro.
And, it's Long Beach, it's Anaheim, it's kind of that whole Orange County.
Well, it's a huge metro.
Area.
I don't remember what the metro is there.
I was even thinking, though, that it could be San Francisco, because we've had a couple from San Francisco that we've been working with.
Yeah, and I didn't, that didn't show up in the stat, and I was expecting that as well. You think about the Silicon Valley, all that. I know a lot of those people are moving to Nevada now, or at least there's been some stories about a lot of the Silicon Valley people moving up to Lake Tahoe.
I know the market there is very hot.
Yes. And so LA, no surprise. This one actually was not a surprise to me. New York, basically the Newark, New Jersey, New York City metro. I've seen that before. A lot of people in that part of the country.
Number 4?
Yeah, that was interesting.
Las Vegas.
Yeah,
Nevada, not ours.
Yep. And then Denver Metro, Seattle, Tacoma, Phoenix. So, it's interesting. We're seeing a lot of activity of people, looking at housing here. And I think it's partly our affordability, our climate, especially if you're in New York, New Jersey. I mean, think about our climate compared to what they deal with.
Yeah.
And Chicago's on the list here too. Same thing.
And then it goes the top 10. So finish it out. So number 8 was Chicago. 7 was Phoenix.
Yep.
Number 8, Chicago. Number 9, the Houston area.
Houston Metro. Yep.
And then 10, our good old El Paso, just down the road.
Yeah.
So,
but you think about that. I mean, that's almost like El Paso is the same as Santa Fe, right? Well, no, I shouldn't say that. That's not a fair comparison. But it is. It's people we see a lot of that. We also see a lot of Tucson back and forth
We
too.
do see a lot of Tucson. And
Yeah.
Brittany on our real estate team is actually from El Paso. So, she moved up here 6 months ago or so. So there you go.
Well, interesting. So it's just one of those things we want to keep a track. We want to see where we should be marketing, how we can make sure that those people that are looking in New Mexico find us and find the homes that we are representing. Okay, Speaking of homes that we're representing, Tracy, what do we have?
I just have one that I want to talk about today. 1408 Kentucky Street went active on the market yesterday.
Okay.
1408 Kentucky Street. So I don't even have the details on it, Tigo. 1408 Kentucky, but
I have the Matterport, but I don't have all the details on it.
So that's it. We do need some houses to sell. So if you're thinking of selling your home, give us a ring. We are Tracy and Tigo Venturi Realty Group of Keller Williams Realty. The best way to reach us is call us at 448-8888 and get on our website, welcomehomeabq.com. So we got a couple of compliments this week, unsolicited, from people just getting on our website and saying, hey, I love your website, blah, blah, blah. And one of the reasons they love it, Tigo? I know it's your baby.
I had no idea. This is news to me.
Yeah, so
because I'm not in that chat box.
You're not in that thread.
Chat thread. Yeah.
Yeah. So because we don't force people to register and tell us who they are, you can freely get on our website and browse all you want and look at homes for hours. And we don't ever make you say, I'm so and so with my phone number is. Because, our sellers deserve their house to be seen by as many people as possible. And making it so they don't have to register is one of the ways we do that for our home sellers, right? We want to make sure that people don't bounce off the site as soon as they're asked to say who you are and what your phone number and your email is. And what's great about that is when people are ready, they do reach out and they're giving us their info, or they're picking up the phone. And it's like we don't need to bother people until they're ready. And when they're ready, they get to raise their hand and tell us, hey, I'm ready. I want to talk to somebody, versus us forcing them to tell us who they are. So.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that. And we were early in the real estate website world and search engine optimization, all that stuff. And it's served us well. It's served our clients well, and we'll continue to do that. And we want to educate.
Congrats to you, because you're the one who works so hard at that, Tigo, and putting so much good information on our website. There's a whole tab for buyers with all sorts of information about buying a home, whole tab for sellers. There's a tab for open houses coming up.
Don't forget there's a tab with market data too.
Yeah, I know. Don't forget about the Statomatic. There's a market data section for sure.
And, the one thing I do have on the homepage is homes as they come on the market, new listings are just listed as kind of the term.
And in this market, that is so important.
Oh my gosh,
you got to know today, like the minute something comes on the market.
You got to know. There was a story of a meeting where somebody started the meeting, and at the beginning of the meeting, they said, hey, I just put this on the market. This was within a realtor community. They put it at the beginning of the meeting. It was like an hour-long meeting. And they said, hey, I got this home, coming, I just put it on the market, and by the end of the meeting, they had like 3 offers, within an hour.
I was in that situation a couple days ago.
That's the market we're in.
I put an offer in full price cash to somebody.
Market of the moment.
Like 10 minutes after it hit the market, and they waited, a day so that they had several other offers that were way above list, which they should have taken my cash offer, but they didn't.
So Eddie, we didn't really talk about interest rates because I know Chris is coming up, but man, there is some crazy interest rates out there right now.
So good, crazy, so good for the consumer.
Yes, good.
People need to buy today, and they just did their taxes, and it's time to go ahead and crank out those 2 years of tax returns and get themselves qualified so they can go ahead and step up to the plate. I mean, as you just heard from Tigo and Tracy, we're literally talking about offers as they're listed 10 minutes. That's not time for you to prepare anything. You've got to be ready to fire that gun.
Absolutely.
Right off starting
and let me give you a little tip on that for people that are buying is, Chris is local. There's a lot of great local lenders. go
Yeah.
with one of the local ones.
Don't get online.
Your offer actually carries a lot more weight if you're with a solid local lender that has a good reputation in the realtor community. That's just a little inside thing. It matters when you're competing against 10, 5 other offers. We heard of one where there's 25 offers on a house. So that stuff's one other thing, the Mortgage Bankers Association.
All you guys, by the way.
Oh yeah.
You guys
Of course.
have plenty of recommendations.
Absolutely.
Call Tigo and Tracy, and they can turn you on to their favorite mortgage guy, their favorite mortgage broker. And Tigo,
Well,
you were gonna say-
I was just going to say the Mortgage Bankers Association tracks what they call the purchase index, where they're looking at how many mortgage applications for purchases they do a weekly tracking, and it is at
so high,
a very high number. So
like in the last 5 years, the highest it's been in 5 years. At
yeah,
least.
I think if you got to go back to the
04, 05.
Yeah, basically, 2010 when they did that tax credit, we had a little bump up, but it's the thing that's interesting about this is it's a leading indicator of where people heads are about buying a home, and currently people are wanting to buy homes,
getting ready with their lending. Yep.
It's not so this is like a month behind, 2 months behind actual closed sales, at least maybe 3 months behind. So it's an interesting indicator.
Tigo and Tracy, they're the best. They're number 1 realtors here in the state of New Mexico, number 38 across the country, and they're my realtors. I want them to be yours. All you have to do is pick up the phone, give them a call directly. 448-8888. That's 448-8888. Or welcomehomeabq.com. That's welcomehomeabq.com. Looking for help? They're the people to help you. 448-8888 or welcomehomeabq.com. Tigo, Tracy, thank you both.
Thank you.
Thanks.